What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salud, salud, salud. Cheers. Oh, yes. And today we have an amazing show. Yes. Oh, but before we go there, let me just make the proper announcements. First of all, hello to everyone. We already have people commenting. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so today we are going live as usual from our Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon Facebook page. Please like and subscribe. That really helps us, okay? Helps us with the algorithm and so we can get to more people. Remember, we do this for you, okay? We just do it out of passion and love for the arts and for you people, the practitioners, the martial artists, okay, and all the martial arts enthusiasts. Okay, so we're also going live through the International Hall of Fame page of Argentina, okay? Remember, they have their own magazine down there in Argentina. That's the one from September, and the one from October is already in the making. It should come out soon, okay? So salute to the people, amazing group of martial artists down there led by Master Juan Martin Alvarez. Salute to you all. Okay, we are also going live in our YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. Okay, so please subscribe to the Kinetic Dragon channel. That also helps. And click on the little bell so you get notified every time we go live. Okay, we're going live right now every Thursday at this time. Okay, 11 a.m. Pacific daytime. That would be what? 2 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, good. So please like and share this video. Okay, leave a comment or ask a question. We are here for you. So today we have my good friend and amazing collaborator of coffee and martial arts, the one and only Guro Kathrin Sumpter and her section, The Way Word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got my coffee. So good to see you, Master Frank.
Good to
you know,
see
the
you.
Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame magazine, isn't that one of the few print publications left? I don't know if there are very many. Yeah,
I don't think that many. Yeah, they're well down there. They're the only ones doing it. Putting it on paper. It's also digital, of course, but you know they have.
Well, I know the Taekwondo Times, the magazine that I've been writing for, they just went exclusively digital just last year. Well, so that Hall of Fame publication, I think it's one of the few print martial arts publications left.
Yep. So they're doing a great effort and a good job. So
yeah. Cheers.
Oh, good coffee this morning, and I know we're going to have a good conversation. So, but before, let me just say hello to a couple of guys that are already commenting here. Mario Alonso Lopez, salute, master from Alamo, Texas. Remember the Alamo. Okay. Okay. Sifu Ernesto Colbrenner saying, salud, maestros from Casa de la Cultura China, Santa Fe, Argentina. Hug from the heart.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of sound. Okay, well, doesn't matter. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Before we went live, we had a moment to speak, and I was telling you, the date September 1st sort of quietly came and went for me, but it was a big day, and I celebrated 30 years in the arts. I took my first Taekwondo less than 30 years ago, and then I also celebrated 15 years of having my school. And when I think about your audience, so many of your viewers are also lifetime practitioners with decades under their belt. In fact, I might be sort of a newbie compared to some of your other viewers and guests and friends. But it's quite an occasion for me, and I've had time to think about it and think about some of the things that are sort of I don't know, maybe a universal stop on the path. I believe that our stories are very individual, but there are things that we also share after decades of being in it. There's just no other way,
Right, right. So September 1st, you um, started martial arts, or you opened up your dojo. How was it?
Yeah, 30 years ago, September 1st, I actually took my first class right here in
What?
Eskrima, Washington, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And you and I have talked about it, I don't really have a very noble story. I was just attracted to the Hollywood image, and I wanted to wear the uniform, and I wanted to be, the ninja girl with the uniform and a black belt. And I just rolled the dice, and here in this town, Eskrima is a small town, and we had maybe one or two studios, and I didn't know. I just rolled the dice, and I found a place, and they happened to teach Taekwondo, and it's actually more of a freestyle Taekwondo, but I signed up, and at some point it takes hold, and isn't there also a point sometimes where for all of us where it's no longer a choice? It's not about making the decision to practice your art. You have to. It becomes a cornerstone of who you are. But that was 30 years ago, and I took a lesson, and then I don't know, whenever I see new students at my school, I just remember what a gutsy move it is walking into a martial arts class for the first time. It takes a lot of courage. You don't know anyone, you don't know what you're doing. They ask you to yell. That's something I was never asked to do before. I have to ki. What? How do you do that?
Right.
It's
right.
hard. It's hard. I've had a few new students over the last several weeks, and I know enough to remember that, how difficult it is to walk into a class for the first time. Oh yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, sure, that's me. Younger days. However, did you get that picture of me?
Well, I got my ways too.
Yeah, you have your ways.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was listening. I was just looking for that photo.
Oh, very good. Very good. I'll have to add it to my page. That's funny. Yeah, there she is. There I am. Yep.
The lethal ninja lady. Yes.
Yep, that's me.
Excellent. So you started. You were influenced by the ninja image, right? I guess that was what in the 80s.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started in 91, but it's, my first exposure, like so many people, was Bruce Lee,
Okay.
And I lived in the Bay Area when he was also living in San Francisco, and I was too young to even know. I wasn't into the arts when I was, 10, 11, 12, but he was living in the Bay Area at that time, just like me. Oh, had I only known, but, yeah, I mean, he was my, the Enter the Dragon and, all the martial arts movies that, boy, Axel, I think about Sensei Axel, he just did his series on martial arts in the movies. But yeah, the 70s were just flooded with martial arts movies. So I was really exposed to a lot of those images, and it's very attractive, And women didn't have a center role back then like they do now. But I just wanted to wear the uniform and have a black belt, and the mystery. There's so much mystery, and I think that's good. Don't you think that's good for the industry to keep that mystery alive?
Oh yeah, I think the mystery, the mysticism, it's important because it brings people in. I mean, and also I think it gives like a larger meaning or a more profound meaning to the martial arts, I should say. Right?
I think so. And the arts hold a lot of mystery for me to this day. I feel like the rewards are still unfathomable. I don't know how it is for you, but I know that over the years, you know, I've been, of course, contemplating all these notions over the last few weeks since I sort of had time to settle down after being so busy and sort of honoring my own benchmark here with this 30 and this 15. And I think I think that's another universal place on the path that you can't really fathom your rewards. And I think also the reward, at least for me, has always been just a little bit greater than the investment. Now, that's not to say, I mean, I don't dip my toe in it. I'm in it all the way. You know, I give so much of myself to my art, but the rewards are always just a little bit greater, it seems to me. That's how it's been for me. And yeah, it's so strange too, because don't you feel like with your art, it's rather a separate entity. It's like I have a relationship with my art. Isn't that sort of strange? You have a relationship with it. I imagine it's like music. Music is an entity of its own, right? And it doesn't exist without the player or well, it's the same thing with martial arts. It exists on its own. But it doesn't, or it's an entity on its own, but it doesn't exist without the practitioner. And I do have a relationship, and just like any other relationship, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Well, I always say I have a love and hate relationship with Kempo, and right now it's mostly love, but in you know, earlier years, sometimes it was more you know, a hate type of relationships. And I believe that happens when you're passionate about it. That's the thing. I mean, when you're really into it, when you make it a part of your life, like you know, a way of life. I know it sounds a cliche, but when you do that, when you really make it a part of you, and you go beyond, right, beyond the just training at the dojo, and you use it as a model for your behaviors, for your actions, for the way you handle yourself with people, and how do you know, make those values a part of your life. I think that's when, you know, the art takes you to that level that you're mentioning. Actually, you know, just as a trivia or interesting you know, fact, I started martial arts because of Kwon Kane. You remember Kwon Kane, the Kung Fu series?
Oh, of course, of course.
The little grasshopper. That's why that was the model for me. I wanted to become this, you know, Shaolin monk or whatever that meant, right? You know, and it's funny because if you see that the TV series now and you see the intro, you'll see, you know, the Shaolin monks throwing ninja stars to a board, and it's all mixed. I mean, it's not really that accurate. I guess they didn't know that much about the Oriental history back in those days in Hollywood, but still, it was this, and it was the wisdom of the character. You know, I know it was a TV series, but it was the wisdom of the character that really got me into it, and the calmness. I remember when he did his thing, whatever it was, you know, I didn't know, I was a kid, but he was so calm and always in control. And I guess that meant something to me back in those days. And like I said, if you feel like that with the martial arts, then it becomes a relationship. Like I think you very accurately mentioned that. And it could become codependent, and you know, like not a very good relationship, or it can become co-empowerment, right? When you empower yourself from the martial arts, and you're also empowering the martial arts world. Because I believe, and if people are watching this, I think that each one of you, any one of you out there watching this, you all make a difference, whether you believe it or not, or you notice or not. Every action that you make towards the martial arts world, towards your community, it does make a difference. Sometimes we think we don't. Like, we're doing this podcast, it's no big deal. Everything we do, everything we put out there, every life we touch with martial arts teaching, it makes a difference, especially on the individual life, right? I mean, you've been teaching in your dojo for 15 years. How many lives have you touched, and how much difference have you created in those lives? I mean, uh, what's better than that, right?
Everybody has something to bring to the table.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, you had said something just a moment ago about sort of the unhealthy part of it, and that was a stop on my path for sure. There were times there where I just got obsessed, and that's not a good thing either. You know, where you just overtrain and overwork and you obsess about it, and it's. I will say that all that overtraining and overworking, my skill set improved, but I also suffered a lot of injuries at that time. You know, you sort of train in sort of you train harder, not smarter, you know? And so I made a lot of mistakes that way. And it was unhealthy. I was overdoing it. It wasn't enhancing my life. I was rather a slave to my art. And that's not good either. Then your art doesn't, it's not good for your art and it's not good for you. But you know, who knows? We're mere mortals, and you know, I guess at some point you have something to prove, and so you overdo it, and you, yeah, obsessed. I was truly obsessed. I just wouldn't give it a rest. Right. So other areas in your life may suffer, you know, and other relationships may suffer because you're obsessing over this one relationship with your art. That's not a good thing.
No, we have some people saying hello here. Sami Ibrahim, maestro. Salud. Salud, sir. Thank you. Okay. John Copeland says it was Mr. Miyagi and Daniel's son for me.
Nice. John is a stick fighter, and he is coming along. He is doing quite well.
Okay, and he has more comments here. Catherine talked about how it's scary to join a class, and it certainly is, but she made it an incredibly welcoming experience. You are an inspiration. Happy 30 years.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. I've got a class with him today.
Nice,
John. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, John. Okay. Rachel says, we are so grateful for all you give to your art and can see it influencing your students.
Rachel, thank you. Thank you.
Nice. See, like I said, you make a difference, right? And all of these students also make a difference in our lives. Always.
Certainly.
Good. Let's see. Victor Perez, salud. Excellent show. Salud, maestros. Gracias. Saludos. Okay. We have Danny Arnold. Hey, hello, sir. For me, it was Bruce Lee. I first caught the martial arts bug because of late Saturday morning kung fu matinees in Oahu.
Yeah.
Nice. I saw Bruce Lee and Jackie being awesome, and I instantly knew I wanted that. Yes. Bruce Lee was definitely an influence in all of us. Yes.
You know, I've been seeing Danny Arnold weigh in on your shows. Now, he's from the Pacific Northwest, too.
Really?
I think. Isn't he from also Tacoma or Seattle? At some point, we'll find out, perhaps train with him.
Mr. Arnold, can you share a little bit about you? Yeah, he's always very active. And
yes, I've noticed him weighing in on your shows.
And he's also very knowledgeable. He knows a lot of history and stuff. So cool. Thank you. And I appreciate your comments, sir, very much. Okay. So yes, I think finding balance, you know, I guess I'm gonna quote Mr. Miyagi, right? It's all about balance, right? So karate here, right? Karate here, karate never here. So
that's pretty good. That's a pretty good impersonation.
So Danny says I'm about 20 minutes south of Seattle. There you go.
Dang. Okay.
You should go and visit Guro Kathrin's dojo.
Yeah, if you ever come out to the Olympic Peninsula and come and visit us and swim, please look me up, sir,
They're
and
not
then
that
I'll
far
do the
away, are they?
same. I'm sorry?
They're not that far away, right?
No.
Right. I mean, I'm not sure, but I know you're around the kind of
Pretty,
like the
pretty
same area.
close.
Though,
Yeah.
you know, it can be what? So, how many hours you're away from Seattle driving?
Just to get off the peninsula, it takes about an hour. But yeah, about 2 hours, two and a half hours.
You're close.
Yeah.
Definitely close.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. A lot closer than I am to Hermosillo.
Yeah, that should be like 20-something hours.
That's a little farther.
How long does it take you to get to LA, for example?
To drive?
Yeah, like 12 hours or more?
I would say more like 18 hours to get to LA.
Okay, then it's 12 hours more from LA to Hermosillo, so we're like 30 hours away driving.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're
right off of Highway 5. You're right off of Highway 516, aren't you?
We are, let's see, south from the I-10.
Okay.
Which is the highway that goes all the way across from Florida to LA. Right? So when you go through Phoenix, then you pass through Tucson, and then in Tucson you go south to Nogales and you go across the border. So
is there a Highway 516?
I'm not sure. Are you making fun of me or something? Because I
no.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm probably I'm not getting the joke.
Not at all. Oh, brother.
Sometimes I'm not good at that. So, okay. Mike Harney says, greetings from the UK. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Nice. Okay. Those are a little bit further away from us, the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've been studying martial arts for 30 years and teaching for 15 years. What made you decide to open up a dojo and start teaching? I mean, you were already into the martial arts, like you said. You had this, relationship with it, and then you decided to start teaching. That's a big step. Not everybody takes that step.
Isn't it so strange too? I don't know if it was a frontal lobe decision. It's more of a pull. It's a pull to give back. I mean, isn't that strange too? It's like I don't know, at some point it's a, well, I can hear Master Damien, at some point it's a calling, right? It becomes a cornerstone of who you are. I don't know if I ever really made the decision to teach. It was more like you have to. It's just like it felt like sort of a natural step on the path. Right. It seemed like that was the right thing to do. And you and I have talked about this before, that there doesn't seem to be a better learning tool than teaching. Okay. Teaching is definitely for me the single greatest learning tool.
Oh yeah. Actually, I encourage my students to do so. And I like for them to start teaching right away. I mean, I started teaching Kempo. I was already going through Taekwondo and a little bit of Hito-Kwan, which is more like a Tang Soo Do thing, when I got into Kempo. But when I started Kempo, when I was a yellow belt, and I started teaching Kempo as a yellow belt in Kempo.
Do you remember what the teacher? I assume that it came from the teacher, that it was driven by your instructor. Do you remember what you were teaching? Were you just teaching like the foundational basics, the blocks, the strikes?
I didn't know anything back then. I knew the first techniques, barely knew the basics, but I was very enthusiastic, very passionate about it. And I guess I was mixing what I knew about, the Korean styles than Kempo, right? But I had a friend, and I started teaching at his house, and it was like 10 of us. It was not a bad group for somebody who just started it, but I was so enthusiastic about it, and so passionate. They really liked it, and I started doing that, and I didn't stop ever since. From there, I moved to another place, to another place, to another place, and so forth. And it really made a difference for me, because once you start, and I'm not saying you should teach as a yellow belt. I mean, it's not like that, but it's okay. For example, if you're learning to share the art, teach it to other people. Do it in a very respectful way, and be careful, and take all the safety precautions of whatever. But once you start sharing the art and the passion, it of course it gives you a deeper understanding, but it also makes your it grows in your heart, so to speak.
Yeah, it takes a foothold. Yes.
Sharing the love. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Duncan Shepard, greetings from Holland. Nice. Salud. So yes, it's. I think it's.
Sometimes I think also you'll see a student that has they have well, I don't know if I want to say a knack. Maybe they have a way about them. Yeah, maybe they have a knack for teaching. And sometimes you can spot that early on. They have the heart for it. Even when they're children, you can see them maybe helping a fellow student. And man, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it when you're passing on this amazing information and you see the light bulb go off. You see somebody get it. There's just nothing like it. When it's no longer yours to give, when they own it, it's theirs, right? So now it's no longer mine to give, it's yours now. I mean, it's what a rush. There's nothing like it.
Right. Okay, we have a familiar face here saying hello. Sensei Axel Cárdenas. Hello, Guro, and big hug from Chile. Saludos, Sensei. Okay. Mike Harney says, I agree. Passing the flame is awesome.
Passing the flame, that's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very Kempo.
Oh, is it? Is it that terminology?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Parker used to talk a lot about the flame, and actually he had a patch from the tournament, the IKC, the International Karate Championship, who was called the flame patch. Had a little flame, and they always talk about keeping the flame burning, right? So.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Jesus Chaira Gonzalez, salud, Master Frank. We don't miss your show here. Yes, gracias, saludos. So yes, teaching, it's very important. Actually, the program that I teach now, what I call Kempo for the Street, the first certification level that you get right away, if you get like an intensive course, it will take you 30 hours to get to the first level, the monitor level, and it's called you become a Kempo monitor. Okay, so
yes.
So you can start monitoring yourself and monitoring others. And basically, what I do is I give you not just the physical, also the philosophical. So that way, I teach you about self-defense within the law and the society and the ethics. And what I want is for you to start changing your speech about how to defend yourself. And that way, you start promoting more of a legal way of or a legal approach, the protector approach, because I still hear a lot of this. If somebody messes with me, he's gonna die, right? And it's like, no, it shouldn't be an eye for an eye. It shouldn't be an eye for an eye, because like we already talked, after you do that eye for an eye, then you start that bad cycle, because then you get revenge or retaliation or whatever you want to call it. The other person, it's pissed, or their family, and they want to get you. So,
and their children's children, right?
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. Yes,
it just
stop.
Right.
It doesn't stop. So, I believe that we need to change that. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying the consequences are probably not worth it for somebody who has a regular life, right? Now, if you go to war, now that's a different reality. But if you are at, living your own life at whatever you're at, you have your family and everything, and you have to defend yourself, and you have this mentality that I'm going to kill you mentality, right? That kill or be killed. You still hear that a lot of that speech in self-defense. And kill or be killed happened in World War II, right? It's a war approach. And if we shouldn't have that war approach in society now these days, we shouldn't. We should have the protector's approach. Now, like I said, if you go to war, then yes, you become a warrior, right? If you're a soldier, that's your job. I understand. I'm not naive, and that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. But if you are becoming a protector, that's one of the things that I teach a lot. I change their mindset, their preconceived ideas about this thing, because you see that a lot. If you see all these martial arts movies that we are talking about, when you see about Bruce Lee, it's always about revenge, right? Because it makes a good plot, right? It makes it interesting. It's a good story, right? If you see, for example, the Enter the Dragon movie for Bruce Lee, it's so it's so it's so
Well,
interesting
the
to watch.
other thing about those movies is that the good guys and the bad guys are clearly defined. There's no question who the good guy is, right?
Right.
It's not
And if you
subjective at all,
no,
right?
and that's the thing. And like when Bruce Lee says, "You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple. You must die." What?
That's pretty good too. That's a pretty good impersonation. Wow.
Yeah, but see, you offended the Shaolin Temple, and you must die just by being offensive. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, why don't you? I don't know. Sue me. Right? But and like you said, it's not. They don't present it as subjective at all, and it is right now. If you said you try to kill me or you're trying to kill me, I must defend my life. Well, that's a different story, right? That I understand, but actually, the protector's way or the protector ethics should be about knowing that you have to be objective, not subjective, right? When you're defending yourself, you have to have this objective approach into ethics, right? For example, what the objective approach is, the ethics should be based upon needs, and the subjective approach is based upon beliefs or creed, right? So I'm going to defend my needs. I'm going to protect my needs, and if I have to, if you're my needs, universal needs, like what? Life. I'm going to protect life, right? I'm going to protect freedom, my freedom, and the freedom of my loved ones, right? And that I'm going to protect it with, everything I got. That's good. But if you're subjected and you're going to protect, I don't know, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan and you're, a Knicks fan, and I'm going to kill you because you offended the Chicago Bulls. You have offended the Chicago Bulls. Now you must die.
Boy, you are onto something, because I also think that if your beliefs are so tenuous that you can be so offended, if you're just that offended, then maybe your convictions aren't as strong as you would hope. If someone can rattle your cage in that way and offend you so greatly, perhaps your convictions are tenuous at best.
That's right. Okay,
you
let's
said
see.
something earlier about. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But you had said something earlier about when you first started, you were attracted to the David Carradine, the kung fu, and there was the young lad who the Shaolin Temple, and you like the idea that's peaceful nature, and there's something to be said for being sort of above the fray. and maybe in some ways when you're looking, like you were talking about, just sort of protecting your needs more than your beliefs, you're rather above the fray. If right, if something's offensive to your sensibilities rather than something's threatening your survival.
I think that one of the assets, or one of the things that we get from the martial arts should be self-control, right? You're developing this strong character so you can handle your temper, right? Not your temper handling you. So if we have self-control, we have this strong character, we can control ourselves and be objective when it comes to, because we do become sheepdogs. Martial artists are sheepdogs, right? So if you're a sheepdog, you must have self-control and self-restraint. You're not going to eat the sheep that you're protecting, right?
Right.
You can't. So you have to have that self-restraint, right? So I think that's one of the things that martial arts should give you, that self-control. And I like, there was a phrase that I like a lot from this book, The Protector's Ethic, Morganelli. I suggest that you get that book. It's on Amazon, The Protector's Ethic, good book. And in one of the phrases he says, I'm going to paraphrase, but he says, the problem with martial artists is sometimes we're not clear. Says, we learn techniques to protect our lives, right? And it's not the same that expending a lifetime protecting our techniques.
Say it again, please.
Okay, so martial artists protectors should be learning techniques to protect life, right? Not living a life to protect techniques.
Yes, of course. Okay. Yes.
Meaning
well said. That happens a lot. Doesn't that happen a lot though in martial arts?
Yes.
In our industry, our beloved industry, that happens a lot.
Because we don't have it clear. We don't have it. If we have clear that we are protectors of life, not a life trying to protect our technique from others.
Yes.
Then if we have that approach, then we can start appreciating others. Okay, so my technique, which is Kempo and Canete and the stuff I do, it helps me to protect myself. Then I don't have to protect the technique from your technique or others' techniques. I see you doing, the Filipino art, and they also help you to protect yourself. Great, then you're doing a great job. That's from my perspective. If I see a Taekwondo person and it helps them to protect them, good. Then it's not my technique that's better than your technique type of thing. And that happens a lot because we don't have that clarity of the way. And it's good because, this section or your section is the way word. So, and world, I guess. So the way should be the way of protecting life, protecting freedom, protecting your, safety, the safety of your loved ones. So it should be like that. Let me just mention, I have some people saying hello here. I'm sorry, making comments. Mike Harney says, that's why the salute has a hand over fist, sir. Hand, it's brain, so brain before brawn. Exactly. Yes, you protect yes, you're covering the fist. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Very nice.
It says the tiger is seen, but the dragon prevails. Yes, that's a very good quote from Mr. Parker. The full quote says, mastery in the arts come when the tiger is seen, but the dragon prevails.
I'm not sure I understand that. I'm not sure I understand that comment.
Okay, so this is also a very Kempo oriented comment. Thank you, sir, for making a comment and for sharing. In Kempo, we have, the two main animals are the dragon and the tiger, right? Actually, the tiger and the dragon covering fist. So the tiger represents your early strength, right? The physical strength, physical action, fighting and all that. And the dragon comes later, which is wisdom, right? It represents the spirituality, wisdom. And actually, it represents the protector, right? Because if we think of dragons, they are guardians of whatever they're guarding, right? The pearl in their hands, the wisdom, whatever. They the most powerful mythological guardians, right?
Right, right. No,
So
that I knew. Yeah.
so mastery in the art comes when the tiger is seen and the dragon prevails, meaning you see the tiger, you see the strength, you see the power, but that spirituality, that wisdom prevails, right? That
And it's the
self-control.
so and that is not seen. That's the unseen.
Yes.
Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
dragons,
Very
we don't see
nice.
dragons around, right? They're only in our minds and they're mythological, right? So
Mhm.
that's why the dragon it's more like the spirituality, and the tiger, which you do see tigers, and if you see one, well, you better get out of there, right? So
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Mike Harney says too much. Well said. Yes, sir. Thank you. Franklin Santa Maria, ha ha ha. Greetings, Master Frank. Saludos. Greetings. Thank you. Danny Arnold says that soccer fans, not football fans, that kill each other. Kidding. Yes, they do. Yes, I do agree. Well, I don't know. Football fans can be very, passionate about it too, I should say. Thank you. Okay, Rachel says, what would you suggest to your students to be the why for their martial arts training? Good
You
question.
know, that is. I know that the industry itself touts improved self-esteem through martial arts, or improved self-image through martial arts, or self-confidence. Well, I'm the poster child for that. I I know where I come from, and I know that I earned a great deal of self-worth from the arts. At least that's how it was for me. Um, like I said, I didn't really get into it for some noble cause. It was more the Hollywood image that attracted me. But what I got out of it was a real sense of self-worth. And I think that you and I had talked about it too, that when you know how to protect yourself, people tend to leave you alone. You're not a target. And it's not because you're walking around wearing your swim martial arts t-shirt. You don't
But you
have to
should.
advertise it, right? But it's the way you carry yourself, right? So people tend to leave you alone. You're not that target anymore.
Yeah, because you don't carry yourself as a victim anymore.
Right.
Right?
Hey, this is our team shirt. this is one of the team shirts.
So you should wear it. Yes, share it with people. Uh, yes, I agree. Actually, we have somebody coming in here. Okay,
Great
Sammy
question, Rachel.
Sammy says, Rachel, for each student, it will be individual. Yes, but as a teacher, I do try to nudge them into the direction of martial arts for protective life. Of course.
Right.
Yes. Yes. And yes, I mean, you come into the dojo or the studio for different reasons. And, actually coming from the movie industry that motivates you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I believe now I'm going to, let's say, Sam says that is a great perspective to have. Thank you. Yes, agree. So, um, and I guess if also the Oriental martial artists and the Western martial artists saw this earlier, long time ago. Like Mr. Parker, for example, he was the one, the founder of the late Senior Grandmaster Ed Parker, the founder of Kempo. He was the one that started promoting martial arts in Hollywood.
Mm.
He was the main guy back in the 50s. And because he saw it as a good platform, right? And he was the one that discovered Bruce Lee and put him in that show, The Green Hornet, in this
Right.
famous Bruce Lee demonstration at Long Beach tournament, which was Ed Parker's tournament.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he invited Bruce Lee because he said, and I'm quoting from some book, he said that kid can make us look good if he goes on the big screen, can make martial arts look good. And Bruce Lee was a kid. He was, 25? at the time, something like that, when he did that demo. I think he was 23 because that demo was in 64. So the movies, Hollywood, and all that, we shouldn't see it as a bad thing, because sometimes I hear, oh, you have this Hollywood, fantasy of the martial arts. So what? That fantasy brought you to the studio, brought you to classes. Then us as instructors, we'll teach you the reality of it, right?
Well, but I will say in the martial arts movies, no matter what, they choreograph fight scenes using real techniques, and it's actually quite fun. Once in a while for the kids, I'll do a movie night or something, and we watch a martial arts movie. And I invite them to look at some of the fight scenes or whatever it is, and it's like, look at what they're doing. They're doing a rear leg roundhouse kick. That's what you do. It's not such a mystery. Look at that. He did a back fist reverse punch with a spinning side kick. That's what you're doing, right? So I got to hand it to the industry, because it's a lot of work, and they're real techniques, and there's a lot of competition out there to be in the film industry. So it's the creme de la creme. It's the best practitioners out there, or a lot of very good practitioners out there, who are making it into these movies because they can execute these fantastic, even if they are choreographed, these pre-choreographed, they execute beautiful techniques.
Right. I agree. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Danny Arnold says, I would like to come check out your school one day, Guro Kathrin. I appreciate the invite. Just curious, do you have a link, a website? Yes, he does.
I do have a web page. It's www.swimmartialarts.com. It's just all spelled out. Please, that would be terrific. Yeah, let me know when you're in the area. And then, of course, I'd love to come and see your school as well.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I just want to share this right away. There we go. That's the website right there.
Thank you.
Okay. It's very nicely done, by the way. There she is. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's me doing a joint lock on my son.
Nice. I like it.
I like it too.
Sure. Great.
He's a good martial artist, but families that fight together stay together, right?
I like that. Okay. So there you go. Danny Arnold says Colombia takes their soccer highly seriously, I've heard. Mexico too. Yes. People here. Wow. I'm not a soccer fan, but people here are just, wow. Agree. Mike Harney says, the late Blake Edwards, you know who Blake Edwards, right, was probably, was a Parker student, yes, and helped Mr. Parker a lot, yes, including Bruce Lee audition for Green Hornet. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing.
Wow, neat.
Yes, and also he says the technique, the Kempo technique, Dance of Death, was used in the Game of Death. Yes, by Danilo Santo. Right.
Oh, gee. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks nice. Yes. Franklin Santa Maria asks, what do you prefer, espada or daga?
In the school, I use, I just use, for the training blades, we use just Sharkies. We use the daga. That's the one that I don't know. I guess I know what I like. I like what I know. And so that's what I've used in the way of blades. Wow. I like that's nice. Yeah. I like telling you my weapon preference. Yeah.
And that's what makes us weird.
I do have some students. Oh, that is so funny. You should say that. I've got students that come in. They're so excited. They bring their weapons to class so they can show everybody. And I watch everybody gather around. They come in with these weird blades and these weird, strange weapons and things that you might see in a prison, like a shank or something. And they come and they like, look at what I made. And everybody gathers around and they want to touch it. And yeah, that's what makes us weird.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you're so funny. That is funny. That is so true.
Okay, I should say unique. That makes it unique, but no, it makes it weird. Yeah.
That's funny.
Franklin Santa Maria says, thanks. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Danielle says, I think I'm experiencing a lag in the live stream on my end. Sorry about that, sir. Everything looks fine here, so it could be just the internet connection. Okay. Let's see. So yes.
One of the things that I was thinking about, and you have so many terrific guests on your show, also, with decades under their belt,
Right.
and I see them giving back so much. They have these big conferences, the gathering, and so many terrific practitioners, and we're not doing it for the money, right? We're not doing it to get rich. It's a lot of work, and it's a labor of love.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's nice to make money out of this.
Yeah, no,
it allows you. Yeah. It allows you to keep on doing it, but definitely we're not money driven.
Right.
Not me either. I mean, it's more about, like you said, to me, it was like that as well. It's giving back, or sharing the love, or sharing the knowledge and the wisdom, sharing the benefits from learning martial arts. Because once you start feeling the difference in yourself, I'm going to talk about myself. When I started feeling the difference of training, in the martial arts, that's when I wanted to start sharing. And actually, that happened to me with Kempo. More than, I like Taekwondo as well and the Korean styles, but it was Kempo that made me starting teaching. That's my experience, okay? And like I said, I do appreciate Taekwondo and I do like the Korean arts, but that's why I focused in Kempo, because once I started Kempo, and actually what made a big difference was the books, the Parker books. I got this #1 volume. There's a 5-volume Infinite Insights into Kempo series. So I got #1 and #2. I remember this was back in 94, 95. And once I started reading them, I was like, whoa, right?
Wow.
And for me, that was it. And it gets to a point that you get that, you mentioned it, that call, that Damien puts it very well. Saluto, Maestro Damien Abbott. You get that calling, right? It resonates, if I could say, in your soul, right? In your spirit, because it's beyond just physical or mental or emotional. It's something bigger. And that to me was the first time was when I got those books. I was like, wow. I was already learning Kempo, but I liked it, but it wasn't that calling until when I got those books. And the second time was when I got to see Grandmaster Larry Tatum video. There was this guy who gave me a copy of the Panther Production When Kempo Strikes videos, Self-Defense Concept, Basic Self-Defense Concept, Volume 1. And I remember it was a VHS, put it in the VCR, that started going, right? And the first thing I saw was Mr. Tatum doing a Kempo moves on a rock on the beach with 4 of his students. And he did some techniques, and I was like, wow. I was like, oh, that's Kempo. Oh my God, I never seen Kempo at that level, perform at that level. And when I saw that, and then he started teaching and talking about, concepts and principles stuff. And I remember I always use this analogy. For me, was the sky opened up, this light came down. I got this light from God or the angels or whatever, and I could hear the music, and it was like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I remember saying, that man is going to be my teacher. That was the thing that came into my head.
Wow.
And then a year later, I was getting lessons from him.
Wow, that's huge.
And
That's huge.
it was just something else. Let's see. Let me say hello to some people. Maestro Miguel Arroyo. Hi, Master Frank. Hello, Master Miguel. Another great interview. Congrats. Thank you, sir. He says, I do Guba Doce Pares. We have a lot of Senior Grandmaster Cacoy style in our Corto curriculum. Senior Grandmaster Cacoy was an extraordinary warrior. Yes, agree. Again, congrats and regard from Texas. Wow. Thank you,
Nice.
Maestro. So nice to hear from you. Danny Arnold says, I remember Mr. Dave Hebler, but he's Grandmaster Campo, saying, if you get into this for the money, you won't make a dime. But you can't imagine a more wonderful career.
Fair enough. Wow. Fair enough. I'm so glad you brought up some of the sort of the tipping points. You talked about that there was a book or there was a video that you saw or something. And one of the things that I do encourage my students is take this stuff, take your martial arts outside the confines of the studio walls. Because if you just come to class a couple of times a week and you put on your uniform, then, okay, you're only a martial artist here, right? So you have to take it outside the confines of these walls. And I'll tell you what, Master Frank, I remember the day that I woke up with it. I remember that day, and it was a Saturday. It was rather innocuous, nothing really different. But I woke up and something was different. And it was a very strange sort of sensation. It was rather understated, but very profound. And I woke up, I flung my eyes open that morning and I said, something's different. And I knew what it was. And I woke up a martial artist. And it sort of happened to me. I'd been working hard. It didn't happen from nothing. I'd been working very hard and I had been taking it outside the walls. And yeah, that morning I woke up with it. And that was one of those tipping point moments for me, just like you were describing with the book and with the VHS video, where something just clicked and you were taken to a different place than you were before. And it happens like that, but there was a lot happening before that tipping moment, Very interesting.
Nice.
And I love these esoteric concepts that we can discuss, and I think that you have to be in the arts for a long time to be able to know what the heck we're talking about. You have to sort of earn these sensibilities, sensibilities, right? You have to sort of earn it. You have to be around for a while to know what the heck we're talking about, or else, yeah, we sound very unique. Weird.
I got that. Okay, let's see. Sammy says, traditionally, in many countries, martial arts was a trade school for protective services. Yeah, law enforcement, caravan guards, imperial guards, soldiers, etc. So in a sense, it was for profit and survival. There you go. Thank you, sir. Even tribal arts, because getting injured in a violent altercation with human or animal, you can work or hunt and can make a living. So in a sense, money profit is always a factor. Sure, agree. Yes. And it's good to make money out of what you're doing. And it's very honorable, right? And it's your right to do so, because we are giving a service to the community by teaching this. Like you just said. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I think also Mr. Arnold was onto something when he said, if that's your purpose is to make money, you'll fail. But if it's driven by your passion for your art, then you'll succeed, right? I mean,
well,
yeah.
I guess, yes, but it's also subjective. I mean, there's people that go into this to make money and they make a lot of money. But I think our suggestion, we should say our opinion, because I agree with you, it should be, for us, it's more about the art than the money, right? but also we need to pay the rent, bills, and everything. So money, it's always important as well. I should agree with Sammy as well. Danny Arnold says, Sam, I like that. I'm going to remember and use that. Ah, cool. Okay, so we're out of time. It's been an hour.
I thought we were just getting started.
Rafael Herrera, big salute from Spain, Maestro Soto, and great salute to that beautiful lady. You have a fan.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Saludos. Okay, so anything you want to add before we go? I got to say thank you, everybody, for commenting. Mr. Arnold, Mr. Ibrahim, Mr. Arroyo, Mr. Harney, all of the guys who were very active today, sharing their thoughts. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guro, please.
Well, thank you so much for letting me talk about this 30-year and 15-year milestone in my life. It means the world to me, and to be able to talk to somebody like you and talk to your audience. There's so many of us out there, but it's still a unique. I can't say unique without thinking weird, but we're definitely a unique bunch. I mean, there's a reason why we gravitated towards this solo path. We didn't pick a team sport. We're not. Right. We're a different bunch. We're not team players, right? We enjoy the solo path, although we meet many on our way.
And we're part of a family because we treat this as family. So yes, we're also.
Yeah, there's the family element.
Sure. I mean, but yes. So no, and it's an honor, and it's so cool that you shared this, your 30 years of practicing the martial arts and your 15 years teaching, and always an honor to have you here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Master Frank.
You always bring a lot of interesting points of views and ideas, and you share a lot. So I really appreciate every time you come here, and I can wait for next time. So we have this section going on once a month. The first Thursday of the month, we'll continue to do so. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody that were watching. Thank you. We have one more comment before we go. Danny Arnold says, I'm weird. I'll take weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a great day. Oh, hold on. We got a more. Sammy says, you rock, Guro. Great show. And I love the Senior Grandmaster Hepler quote. He's my teacher's teacher. Nice. Thank you, sir. Okay, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.